and welcome to Encounter Roleplay on this fine Monday. I don't know why I am doing this voice, but I have committed now, so this is how introduction will be done. Greetings to Allegra, played by Susanna Grace.
Hi, have I come on the right chat? Am I in the right place?
It's Monday Madness. We are here for the Crownlands, our Song of Ice and Fire campaign. Does that sound right, Susie?
Okay, that sounds about right. Hi everybody. I'm Susie. I currently have a Cisco on my lap, and he is fascinated by my new necklace today. So if you see a tiny paw come up, it's the cat. That's all about I have to say today. I'm in a weird place, folks. It's getting to me. I'm excited to play some Game of Thrones.
And Millie, so great to have you back, and with toilet.
Yes, I have a toilet now. Everything is right with the world. I've discovered that my internal for what makes happiness occur is really low now. So, like, working toilet, maybe a shower at a push, but aside from that, I'm easy now. Everything's fine. Nothing can hurt me anymore. Thanks, the builder.
I'm in such a dark place. My brain just went, isn't a working shower basically a toilet?
If you're that pushed, but we didn't have that either. 17 days. You have no idea. Yeah, I have no shame.
We're in dark days here.
But it's all good. It's really nice to be back. I missed you guys.
We missed you too, and I'm very excited to see what happens next with Tarla. Let's drop on down and say hello to our other regular cast member, the wonderful Sam, aka Follow Black Cats, aka Jamie.
Hello. How you doing?
Hi, friend. How you doing?
I'm all right. It hasn't felt like I've been at home for a week now, properly like in isolation, but it doesn't feel it. It feels it's gone quicker than I thought. That's all I have to say. I don't know. Do we plug here? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm so glad that's all you had to say while I was busy typing in chat that while Tom is a regular, he is also acute. So Sam, what are you up to? What's going on in your life? Because you're all at home now, right? At Modiphius, everyone's gone
we
home.
are. We took the decision to work from home because we can, thankfully. So we're still going. We're still making games. There'll be a bit of a change up of how we distribute those games in the coming months. Of course, and this isn't like a secret, obviously, we don't know kind of what's happening week by week with the country and even internationally, not necessarily month by month. So we're probably going to see a few more like digital releases in the short term. But yeah, we're still plugging away, so don't worry, friends. We'll still have lots of cool tabletop games for you to try, including Dishonored, which will release on pre-order tomorrow.
Yay!
And you can go and buy that, and so you'll pre-order the physical core rulebook, a little digest, roll size hardback. If you pre-order it tomorrow, you will get to see the final PDF straight away, so you can start playing right away.
We go, big link over in chat. And the other thing, if you're looking for something digital to play in this downtime, go and check out that late backer kit over for the Spy game, which is Sam's other big project. There's some very cool beta rule sets out there that you should go and check out. But let me hop across to our irregular cast member. Tom, how did you get here? What's going on?
I mean, I've been called worse.
By me.
Yeah, by Charlie. By probably everyone in this room, actually, I think. Don't give me that face, Susie. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Here to do this little quick guest slot. Which I'm excited to do. As a cast member of After the Fire, the sister campaign to this, I've been watching this really eagerly, and I will admit I poked Charlie and said, Charlie, I want to play Charlie, and eventually she gave in. So that's it. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, we were kind of like offhand talking about it, and then over the weekend it was kind of mentioned this. I was like, "Oh, Tom, are you going to come play?" And I was like, Well, I guess actually, if he's free, he could. So, Tom, you're going to be playing Alfred Wild / Flowers for us today.
I am.
A little bit back in time for Alfred from where he is and After the Fire. Part of that journey south from King's Landing after the events of the tournament. And into the middle of the events of House Tremaine, which is where we will be heading very shortly. But before we do, I'm going to hand over to Past Charlie to tell you about today's sponsors. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com. Thank you so much, Past Charlie. Back to the studio. And here in the studio, I'd like to remind you to go and check out our sponsors, Wild Anvil. Check out that code, ENCOUNTERRP, all caps, for 20% off your 6-month and 12-month subscriptions over there. You can also check out the Crownlands Wild Anvil for family trees, letters, and more. I just updated that list of key NPCs. The Gaunts are getting a new article today. It is all cooking in the Crownlands. Let's relax our shoulders, take a breath, and journey to Westeros. Tarla, the last thing you remembered was that hand upon your shoulder, grabbing you, pulling you back, grabbing your hair as you tried to escape. You kicked out. You lunged. There was an arrow. A wet sound. Someone called to you and you were running. And here you are, a rabbit, running through the woods, unfamiliar woods. You look for a nook, for a hole to dive into, tree roots to hide in. A hunter walks patiently through. You can hear his gentle step, the subtle crackle of leaf litter and twig. And then he stops, and you stop. Your ears pan around, searching. Where is he? Where is a place to hide? You hear that gentle, subtle sound of a bow being tensed as an arrow is prepared to fire. And then another thwack as something very close to you is struck. And the world goes dark. But you can still hear the birds, still hear that hunter as he grows ever closer, his tread still soft through the woods. As slowly your eyes blink open, you see the dapple green of the canopy above. And Alfred, as you approach the fallen deer, your prize hunt for the day, you stumble across something else here in the woods. Just beyond a fallen tree, a girl laying in the leaf litter. And Tarla, you see this man peer down at you, bright green eye, the rest of his face hidden by a heavy hood.
I'm sorry. I didn't see you. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you. It's okay. He'll step back a little, make his hands up.
You don't know that you... Where are we?
We're in the forest.
Well...
Well, unfortunately, I don't know the land all too well here. I'm heading south. Are you from here?
I don't know. The trees are different.
Are you from a local farm or anything?
Where are you from?
I'm from the Reach.
Do I know what that means?
So, in your study of Dornish romance novels, you know that just north of Dawn is a green and luscious place known as the Reach, the head of which is Leo Tyrell, who resides at Highgarden. It's where a lot of produce comes from, sorted up to King's Landing for feasts when the lands around cannot provide enough. It's a relatively rich area, and it's kind of the other side of the Stormlands from you, down south.
So I could perhaps assume that he might be along the same lines as our guests at the dinner.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I mean, I don't think I look like them, do I?
No, you would notice Alfred is not as tanned as the Dornishmen, the Wills that you met at the feast. But he is kind of weather-worn, having had recent experiences across the Narrow Sea in very, very sunny Tyrosh. But you wouldn't know that. That's the mine and Tom's memory of what's happened to Alfred in recent history.
Yeah.
I think I'd just be backed against a tree, just sort of pulling what clothing I've got on me.
Okay. It's all right. And he kind of puts his bow over his shoulder, and just backs away, gives you plenty of space. Look, I'm not going to hurt you, okay? I'm not. I just hunted that deer over there.
Well done.
Thank you. Look, I don't know if you live close or you're out here alone. Are you alone out here?
I think so. I wasn't, and then there was noise and somebody chasing me, and I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you'd like, I have a camp not far from here. I'm going to take this deer and skin it. I don't know if you're hungry. You're more than welcome to join me, and maybe we can find a way to get you home.
That would be nice. Food.
Okay.
Would be nice, thank you.
Okay. I'm just going to take this deer back with us, okay? And you follow me, and we'll get to the camp.
Do you need some help?
If you're up to it.
I can help.
Okay. Well, if you come round, and he'll come over to where the deer was, and he'll go, well, I'll take. Which end would you like, the head or the rear?
Whichever you prefer. I've never.
Okay.
I don't carry deer.
Okay. Well, I'll take the rear, and you take the head, and then we'll carry it back together. Okay. Okay. Right. On three. Yes. 1, 2, 3. And he'll lift it, and he'll probably take as much weight as he possibly can. But then Tarla help, and we'll slowly head back to the camp.
And this is a reasonable sized felling. and you carry it between you back towards Alfred's small camp set in a clearing here, not too far from the road. Tarla, as you pass through the woods, you look for any familiar sign, any trace of your friend. You remember now you'd been chasing her when it all began. But there is no one here. Just the gentle singing of the springtime birds and this new hunter, who you can tell is trying to carry as much of the weight of this deer as possible.
Do you hunt a lot?
Not as often as I used to. Yeah.
Oh. So, I'm sorry. This is very awkward. I'm not used to talking to strangers with that.
Me neither. I'm not particularly good at talking to people myself. I prefer, the trees and being alone.
Riding.
I'm sorry?
Words are tricky. Everybody these days seems to enjoy fencing with them, and it's all a game. They get tied up in it. I'd rather avoid the complication.
You and me both. Words were never my strong point. The camp's just around here, and you could just see it's like a simple, small embers of a fire there. It's a very little makeshift kind of, very quickly done up shelter that's kind of been made up like from a stump of a tree, but then added extra branches up and then leaves. And he's got like leaves on the floor underneath it to kind of give himself a little bit of a bed. And he brings it over. Okay, well, if you just pop it down by here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he'll fling back his hood. And when he flings back his hood, you can quite clearly see a very gruesome scar down the right of his face. And it's like it's been stitched up, not haphazardly, but not done like with any due care. It's just kind of like a quick stitch here and there. But he looks pretty ghastly, to be honest. And he just kind of gets his knife and he starts gutting the deer. Have you ever done this before on your farm or wherever you're from?
No.
No?
No. The camp you've made, it reminds me of shelters that I used to make with my little brother.
Oh, you used to go out with your brother in the forest?
Sometimes.
Is your brother far?
What happened to your face? Sorry, I shouldn't.
No, it's okay. I tried to protect some people who couldn't protect themselves. And this is the price I paid for
Badge of honor.
it. I suppose that's one way of calling it. Others would say a mistake. Others would say foolish. And he kind of pulls the skin a bit, and he just starts going.
The words go wrong a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Can I help at all? I mean, with the deer, not with the.
Sure. Come around here. I'll show you how to do this.
Okay.
And if you come around this side, and he'll show the knife, and he go, right, so what I'm going to do, if you grab hold of the skin here, I'm going to start cutting across. And if you start pulling, you'll feel a bit of tension, but start pulling and pulling. Okay?
Okay, I don't want to do it too hard and make it.
You'll be all right. You'll be okay. Ready?
Okay.
And he starts kind of cutting. He goes, okay, pull. You got it. And he'll do that for a bit, kind of show her how to kind of skin the animal, and then the meats and stuff like that, until it's ready to be cooked. He starts the fire going again, and until he's like got the meat cooking around the fire.
You can see as we're doing this, just occasionally little parts of the deer kind of catch my attention, like just around the ankle, just bending it, almost fascinated for a second, and then realize what I'm doing.
Do you like deer? Animals?
Yes. It's just, I've never seen one like this up close before, not this fresh anyway. They're just like horses.
A little less powerful, a little smaller, but I guess.
More the makeup. Strange. You have an idea of something in your head all your life, and then up close. It's not as hard as I thought it would be. The skinning?
No. Would you like to try with a knife?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hand her the knife. Okay, so the best way, and he'll talk her through, because I don't actually know how to skin properly. I've got a vague idea, but I'll talk her, and I talk her through how to skin, and kind of teach her how to do
All right,
that.
so Millie, what I'd like you to do for Tarla then, as you try and take over a bit of skinning, I imagine this is on a kind of a less valuable part of the animal, maybe the legs, where it doesn't matter so much if the skin gets a bit scuffed up. The pelt won't be ruined. Let's call this a...
If you say animal handling.
Survival... I'm going to say a survival hunt roll,
Oh, no.
but with Alfred's kind of tutorial, you'll get 1 bonus dice to this roll.
Okay. Don't think it's going to help. Let's see.
You never know.
No! Oh no! Oh dear. That's a 3.
So, Millie, describe for me how Tarla kind of fails epically.
So I'm pulling against the skin and trying to run the knife down the sinew, and I press in a little too hard, and it kind of gets slightly jammed in against one of the smaller bones, and as I'm pulling it free, it just cuts across the palm of my hand.
Oh. Are you okay?
Sorry. Oh.
Hang on. Let me have a look.
It's okay. Made a mess of it again.
It's okay. I mean, it's your first time. No one ever gets it
Tarla,
right the first time.
as you stare at your bloodied hand, I'd like you to make a will roll, please.
Okay. 13.
Okay. You feel a wooziness push over you, but it's different from a faintingness. It's almost as if you feel like you're moving out of your body, as if you're going somewhere. There's this feeling of movement, but you kind of blink and you shake it away. A headache is kind of clinging to the edges of your vision, but it passes.
At this point, Alfred's kind of torn a bit of clothing, kind of cloth, from his clothes, and he's just about to hand. Are you okay?
Yes. Yeah, I'm fine.
It's just a little blood. It's fine. It's not particularly clean, but it should. help staunch the blood.
Oh, you didn't need to do that.
Thank you so much to Architect Origins, who has just unleashed, I believe, absolute power. I look forward to reading what shenanigans we will be adding to our story. Thank you so much, Architect. We appreciate that so much.
And he'll offer it to her, to Tarla, if but he's got his hand out as well to staff, if you need help doing it.
I mean, thank you.
Okay.
I'll reach out and take it and start pressing against the blood on my palm rather than wrapping it. And actually, yeah, no, she's a country girl. She'd be fine. So I'd spit in my hand and then put it away so that I can see what damage I've done, and I know that will be fine. And you can see another fairly fresh cut on my palm, kind of close to where that one is.
Okay. Is this the first time you used a knife? Or at least one this size?
For something useful, I suppose. I mean, you get stones out of hooves and cut ropes and nothing like this. Maybe you'd be better off doing it yourself in future. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And he'll continue. You said stones out of hoofs, animals.
Mm-hmm.
You a stableman's daughter, or?
Yes, my father was he ran looked after the horses for a family a while back.
Not anymore.
I don't know.
Do you know where you're from?
Well, yes.
Okay.
I don't know where are we? Where is this?
Well, I believe we're still in the Crownlands. Yeah. We're in the Crownlands. Probably, I don't know, we're from King's Landing, southwest, west?
You are west right now.
West of King's Landing. Well, probably quite far west of King's Landing, but yeah.
So how many days ride roughly would that be in my head from home?
It's hard for you to guess because King's Landing is on the east coast, and you are about a day from that inwards.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a long way west, and then you hit kind of the Riverlands and the Westerlands out to the other side. So you could be just a couple of days, you could be many days, especially on foot, which is the current situation you find yourself in.
Well, I mean, it might not be so far away. I'm not sure. It all got confused.
Confused?
I don't think I was well, or I got a knock on the head or something.
He's going to have a look at her head to see if there's any damp kind of spots where there could have been bleeding. There is there?
Okay, so this will be a healing diagnose test.
Oh dear.
As you kind of look her over for...
You're like WebMD now, like, it's cancer, for sure.
Well, it's just 2d6, so...
Congratulations, you've got gout.
Oh, 11!
Ooh.
With 1. Ooh. See, being around Martia, that's...
rubbed up. So you can see a number of bruises as you kind of look Tarla over, and you kind of pull through her very thick red-brown hair. You can't see any cuts or anything, but there is a graze high on her temple on the right side.
Quite fresh.
Yeah, you would guess fairly fresh.
Were you running from someone?
I think so. Once. Not at the start.
Okay.
And then it was fine, and then... No, that was the rabbit. Was that me? It's all jumbled up.
Okay. Let's start with something simple. My name is Alfred. Do you remember yours?
Allegra.
Allegra. Okay. Pleasure to meet you, Allegra. Now, what we're going to do here, if okay with you, we'll get the animal, we'll have a nice meal, and then we'll go and see if we can find your way home. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'm just going to finish up doing this, okay? There's some water near the fire, should you want any.
Thank you.
Okay. And he'll just continue cutting meats off the deer.
I think I'd go around and pour a little water out of the water skin partly onto my hand and then take a swig. But I'm going to be watching him the whole time. I've still got that almost wild animal look to me, like I'm ready to bolt at any moment. He seems
Tom,
nice.
for Alfred's part, could you make a cunning logic test?
Sure, I'm pretty sure that's going to be still 2. Yep. Okay, let me try. 8.
Okay. On an 8, the way this Allegra woman speaks suggests to you that she's educated. Maybe, has been around nobles or highborn to some degree. She doesn't have the twang of someone who grew up in a village.
Yeah. Okay. So after a while where he started cutting pieces of meat, he's got a piece of meat, and he's going to start to head to the fire, and he's going to stoke the fire a little to start cooking it. He's going to just kind of... Or should he make a stew? He'll make a stew.
Well, at this time, you know that you don't have a great deal of resources on you, and you desperately want to push south. So I think a stew would probably make the most of what, the less valuable meat that you can kind of spare.
Yeah, I'll do that then. Yeah.
Or you could just fry it up and try and find some mushrooms.
I'll make a stew for the less valuable. He probably needs more. He could sell the rest for money. So he'll start kind of getting just like a little pot that you might have, and he just starts making a bit of a stew. And so Allegra, you were a stable hand, or at least your father was. Was it at a lord's house, or?
Yes.
Do you remember the lord?
A little, I think.
Do you remember the name? If you can remember the name, that could greatly help.
Gaunt?
Gaunt. Okay, I'm going to do a test to see if I know what the hell the Gaunts are.
So it's either going to be kind of a knowledge education to see how well you studied your heraldry, or a cunning memory test.
I will
see
do
if you
knowledge.
can recall the name.
I will do
Okay.
knowledge. Oops. That. A lot of 2d6s. 7.
7. You're not particularly familiar with the name Gaunt. That is a noble house. You're pretty sure you either heard or saw something about them at King's Landing, but nothing super significant jumps to your mind.
Okay. Okay. Well, at least we have a lord's house or something. Maybe we could stumble along a village and ask directions for you there. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
And he'll carry on cooking.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? Oh,
Hmm.
I'm traveling south, as I said.
What for?
I'm going home.
From where?
Oh, well, I was in King's Landing for some business, and it concluded, and now I'm heading home.
You're a salesman.
No. Maybe business was the wrong word. I was there for the hands tourney.
Oh. Do I remember any of that?
Make a cunning memory test, and we'll see how much you can recall.
Okay.
You definitely instantly remember a tournament. Whether it's from a story you've heard or your reality, you're not sure to begin with. You concentrate on the pageantry of heraldry, of knights. Maybe you even imagine a small wooden knight being charged along a windowsill. Great job, Melanie.
Oh.
Great job. Like a
God.
boss. 2 1s on the deck.
Yeah,
It's that
Um,
it's appropriate.
And as you imagine this little wooden knight, this toy, you remember silver coins tumbling, falling down into blood and mud and dirt. And then you remember a feast hall full of people coughing. And you get kind of distracted in this haze of sickness and strange memories that make no sense, and you are sure have nothing to do with the tournament.
Yeah.
Are you okay, Allegra?
Mm.
It's
Fine.
okay. It's okay. Wait just there. I'm just going to get something. And he's just going to head up, and he's just going to forage for a little bit and find some kind of mint or something
Okay.
like that.
Did he leave the knife?
Yeah, I'll say I left the knife. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Then I will scuttle over to where that is and have it in my hand. I'm not hiding the fact that I've got it, but I'm just looking at it and looking at the blood on the blade and looking at my hand and glancing up at him.
And he'll come back with some mint, and he'll know it goes, careful with that knife. You've cut yourself once already. And he'll kind of just add a little mint to the stew and start stirring.
And you watch the herbs tumble into the food. Someone had done something to the food. Everyone was dying. Everyone was dying because they'd had something to eat. It was the food. You were sure of it. Was it this man? You remember a man with a scar. He'd taken you away, hadn't he? Had he grabbed you? Was he the one? Is this the same one? And you escalate through this spiral.
No, we can't eat this. And I push or kick it over
And
back away with the knife out.
Did
you do it?
It's okay. I do not.
Is it you? Why are you here? Why am I with you?
It's okay. It's okay. And I stumbled upon you just over there when I was hunting a deer. This is the first time we've met.
Why am I here?
I don't know. But I will try to get you home if I can.
We can't eat that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will make stew. We'll I'll cook some meat. And you can be in charge of the cooking. You can see everything that goes, okay? So you know what goes in, you know what goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And he'll kind of step back and he'll point over to where he's probably cut the deer into pieces of meat. The meat's over there. You can grab whatever piece you want and bring it over to the fire. And he's going to make sure he stands well back and just give her as much space as she needs.
And Tarla, you gain some control of yourself for a while, but it doesn't last. The headache pushes in and in, this pressure, this burning in your brain. And as you close your eyes to try and push it out, there's wings, great wings, dark, leathery wings. Something is coming. And you have that feeling again, that feeling of leaving your body, of flying. And Alfred, as you turn to ask her a question about what next to do with the meat, you can see that the young woman has passed out down into the leaf litter. And this is where we will pan to King's Landing, where Allegra dines on her breakfast. Yesterday, Allegra, you had made it to court just in time to tell them what the Gaunts had done to your family and to try and resolve things for Tarla. And you were told to come back tomorrow. You'd sent word to Jamie, a raven. Brief words to explain what had happened, and you hope that he arrives today. He was meant to arrive today, but he hasn't yet. Donella is sat silently opposite you, eating her breakfast as well. Her eyes down. You're relieved to see some flush to her cheeks today, her health continuing to improve.
I think Allegra reaches over to her and sort of like brushes her cheek. She says, "You're looking much better today, darling."
She smiles up at you.
Are you feeling up to accompanying me to court today?
She glances around. Surely you don't mean her.
Of course you. It's important for young ladies to know what happens at court. You will be here in the future as a lady in your own right.
She nods, agreeing.
All right. Well, there will be a part where I need to go speak to the Lord Others. In which case, it's probably best you don't join us there. But you're more than welcome to return here or take a stroll or seek out something else.
You see a curious frown flicker when you say that she won't need to be there when you talk to Lord Otherus. And then the frown kind of grows more concerned and worried when you tell her that she should go for a walk or find something else to do. Uncertainty, perhaps.
What's the matter? Are you afraid? You'll be quite safe here. There's the King's Guard all over. There's the gold cloaks. This place is so secure. You'll be fine.
She takes the goblet of juice, freshly squeezed, and kind of slides it violently across the table until it tumbles over and tumbles onto the ground. And she watches it go and then looks to you.
What's that about?
She sighs, irritated that you stand, and picks up the goblet and sets it down with a more violent thud than she ought to. And you can see her trying to think how to communicate to you, and then she gets up from her seat. She moves across this living space, the small, kind of elegantly dressed but small inn room. And she goes to her things and she kind of rifles through, and she pulls out something small and comes back to the table. And in the spilt juice, she slams down a silver coin.
And Allegra will reach over and pick it up.
At first glance, it's just a silver stag, but as you turn it, the head is wrong. This is Blackfire silver.
She immediately covers it as though it can look at her, and she spins to Donella, and with a fury in her eyes, "Why do you have this?"
And she kind of guppies for a moment, her mouth moving as if trying to form words, but she's never spoken a word in her life.
Donella Dorsey, Damon Blackfire was a traitor. He brought terror, he brought horror to this land, and you are carrying his coin. Do you know what would happen to you if anyone found you with this?
And you can see hot tears in her eyes, water brimming at the rims.
Foolish girl. And Allegra she doesn't know what to do with this fucking coin. She's kind of got it in her hands, but she knows that, I'm going to get rid of this. Do you have any more? And tell me now.
Susie, I'm going to ask you to make a retarget action.
Ooh, okay. I forget how we do that. Where's my little cheat
if
sheet?
we open up the cheat sheet, and if anyone would like to see our cheat sheet, which is modified rules that we use for streaming this game, you can get them on the Patreon for as little as $1. They are over there for you, along with all of the art for the games. I'm slowly uploading packs, so you can enjoy that, and you can use it in your own games if you'd like to run some cooler Cthulhu, for example. We've got a ton of art for that.
Awareness, empathy. Okay.
Yeah, it's awareness, empathy is her passive deception.
In a move that will surprise many people, Allegra actually has a dice in empathy. That will be an 18.
18. As she shakes her head, you know she's lying.
She's lying. Sorry, Charlie, you kind of
She
went
has
a bit
more than
laggy.
that coin.
Allegra
She tries to tell you she doesn't with a shake of her head, but you know she's lying.
stands. She grabs Donella's wrist, pulls her up to her feet. You will show me where the rest of them are. Now.
Intimidation.
Damn it. Okay, yeah, it's still persuasion. Okay.
Yes,
So that's
persuasion,
just-
intimidation.
It's just 5. And it's a persuasion test, so I get to re-roll ones.
Okay. So that's 3 ones to reroll for you. And thank you all so much for those retweets. I am still tallying them up. We've got a mysterious letter unlocked, and we are on our way to an unexpected ally.
21.
Okay, on a 21, you strike the fear of the gods into Donella Dorsey. And she kind of pulls away from you, falling onto her bum, and kind of scuttles backwards to her things. And she starts pulling handfuls and handfuls of clothing out, and small items begin to fall out. Small things of yours you spot amongst the debris. And then pulled out of a shoe, another silver coin. And it becomes apparent to you that Donella Dorsey has collected many things on her travels.
Mm-hmm. And as Allegra's things start to fall out of Donella's things, there is a fury within her as this little snake is stealing her shit. But she takes a breath. She holds out her hand for the other coin.
Which she hands over.
She snatches it up. You will return every stolen item to its proper and correct place. Do I make myself clear, Donella?
And she nods. She's crying, but she doesn't really make much sound. And she kind of goes back to the things and kind of organizes them. And she pulls out a letter. It's a small raven scroll. And she holds this out to you.
And Allegra takes it. She kind of snatches it from her. She's in a bad mood. See, Allegra's not exactly a great person. So she snatches this letter from this weeping child and reads it.
Okay, and as you snatch it up, you can see it is sealed with House Gaunt, and there's a familiarity to it. This is very akin to 3 notes that you already possess. 3 notes from a dead girl.
Pop that seal without a second thought.
Okay,
but make sure to keep it like on the paper, right? So she's lifting it.
Yeah.
So it's very visible House Gaunt.
I imagine you've got kind of long nails, so you just kind of slide it under and it just lifts. Inside is another very short note from Della to Ada. It says, "I've made a blood offering. You will need to as well. Please. D."
Ooh. Oh! Okay. Allegra says a little thank you prior to the 7. You got me, booze. She puts that with the notes that she had compiled earlier for her meeting. Thank you, Donella, for this honesty. I'm disappointed that it had to come like this. Perhaps next time we'll have to do away with these theatrics.
She kind of nods, her eyes are really low. She's looking anywhere but at you.
All right, clean yourself up. Put on your finest gown. We're going to court.
She finds her feet, grabs the garment. She only has a couple of good dresses packed and kind of disappears behind one of those kind of concertina screens to figure out how to dress herself in this gown. Well out of your line of sight.
And Allegra will return to the table. She'll take a swig of wine and wait for Donella to be done.
And let's pan to someone else in the capital. Wendell, you received a note from your father. Allegra Dorsey had contacted the royal court and had levied against your house a claim that you had murdered Lord Aberon Bywater and attacked the house. If not you personally, the family at least. And they are by and large the same to you. It has been a long morning already as you've decided what to do. Your house has been petitioned to answer the claim. But conveniently, you are already here in King's Landing. And, Wendell, what are your actions this morning?
Well, I think Wendell will say a prayer, as he was to every morning, thank the 7, and he would like to send out couriers or whoever to find Jamie to see if he is in King's Landing.
I would like Wendell to make a knowledge streetwise test.
Okay.
Just to narrow down places for you to go and look for Jamie.
Ooh, okay, that's not bad actually. You know, it's so roll the. Sorry.
Hi, fam.
So much trouble. The both of you. So much trouble.
I want to give a massive shout out to Shauna, who last night, very last minute, put together a lovely sketch of the beautiful Wendell Gaunt, as well as the artwork you can see on screen.
Okay, I think I got that right. 8?
Okay, on an 8. You know that Jamie is often here in King's Landing, and you ask around a couple of the familiar places, and you are pointed to the house of a man known as Sir Bellamy. People know this is where Jamie stays, although no one seems to know where Jamie is right now. And they tell you a host of rumors about things at House Tremaine, of blood being spilt at feasts. Did you hear that Baylor is leaving to go south to the Reach? There's a lot of news and a lot of babble, and it's irritating at best as they fail to focus on what you're actually asking them. Bellamy's house is not too hard to find. It's rather close to the Red Keep, in fact.
Okay. Do I know if Jamie's knighted?
You would know that Jamie was knighted.
Okay, okay, cool. So,
You're a legitimized bastard, of course you're knighted, Jamie. The sass from that silent box.
He will. I know, right? He'll head to the door, and he will knock, or at least ask them to bring.
Mm-hmm. So you go to the door and you knock, and it is answered by a serving girl who kind of looks you up and down. Good morning, my lord.
Good morning. Is your lord in residence?
Who might be asking, my lord?
I am Sir Wendell Gaunt.
I'll see if he's in. And she closes the door, and you kind of hear a few steps, and then more as she goes up through the building. Yes, you can.
Can I interject? Just for the take the piss out of Tom, for the sake of take the piss out of Tom. I want him to hear from the other side of the door. If that's the working girl, tell her she's come too early.
You do. This is what you hear. And there's some further discussion. Sir Bellamy has a deep and booming voice, much like Lord Aberrin Bywater, because I can only do 3 voices. And you can kind of hear it resonating through this building. There's a not-so-subtle discussion. But the girl comes back down to the door, and she opens it and invites you in. Our most honoured guest.
Thank you very much. And he'll head in.
And you're looking over a table, and on this table you can see it's kind of like Westerosi chess. It's all inlaid with these squares of a game, but there are no kind of game pieces. It's an ornate piece. She brings you over a drink and asks if you'd care for any breakfast.
Water, please, and I have eaten, thank you.
As you like, my lord, although I wouldn't advise the water in King's Landing.
He'll just stare at her.
As you wish, my lord. And you can hear her muttering under her breath as she walks away. Not best pleased with your appearance, apparently.
Cheeky servant.
And the water is kind of dragged up from a well out in a courtyard. You can hear her huffing and puffing. She comes back in and she puts the jug down with force, and it sloshes everywhere. She goes to the cupboard and she opens the cupboard with a bang. She grabs the cup, she puts that down with a bang. And as she's kind of doing this, down the stairs comes Sir Bellamy. He's a rather rotund man, approaching middle age, and he kind of squints at you. Ah, yes. Wendell Gaunt, and his eyes kind of bulge as if he's rolling through a Rolodex in his mind.
Yeah, he'll slightly nod. Certainly, it is. I hope I have not put you in much of a disposition calling so early.
No, not at all. I am a morning man. And he kind of straightens his robe.
Aren't the best of us. Forgive me, I am here to ask a question and seek your help, if you would indulge me.
Of course. Tell me, is it Jamie you're bringing news about? Terrible, terrible thing what happened to his family.
Yes, yes, so I've heard. Absolutely awful. Actually, Jamie is the very reason why I'm here. I would like to find Jamie and have a word with him, and, well, I hear he sometimes frequents this place, and I was wondering if you had seen him recently.
Frequents, what a fun word for it. All right, well, yes, I suppose he does often come by. Very interesting young man. And he's produced papers from somewhere, like scrolls, and he's kind of brought them over to the table as if it's like the morning paper, and he's kind of laying them out. Well, I imagine if things have been resolved at his home, whether they're all dead or they're all living, he'll be coming back in due course. Jamie is rarely far from King's Landing.
And you haven't heard of when this will happen? In a matter of days, I suppose?
Oh, I haven't had a raven yet, but if he has time, I'm sure he'll send word. He likes to keep up to date with the goings-on. As do we all.
Indeed, indeed. If you would be so kind, if you were to see Jamie, that inform him that I am looking for him and would like a word.
I will indeed. I will indeed.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. But I will leave you to your breakfast and have a very good day.
And the serving girl now approaches you with the silver tray, daintily held out with the holy cup of water upon it. My lord?
Thank you. You may keep it. Good day. And he walks out.
And you do. And Jamie, you ride through the countryside, having set out as early as possible for King's Landing. Behind you ride your cadre of men, those that you have not set to the task of helping Adeline with her continued search. The ground is firming up finally after the 2 days of bad storm, and the road is well beaten into a track for you. You pass, as Allegra did, those who are moving around. You see some of the exodus of people, although it's less obvious at this time of day. And how hard are you riding for King's Landing, Sam?
A casual canter.
Okay. And do you mean to go via anywhere on your way? Because we had discussions of visiting House Gaunt at one point.
Yeah, I think King's Landing's fine. We have a plan to meet up, Allegra and I. And like me personally, I think he probably is like, I'd like to go and, stomp around House Gaunt, but actually a bit nervous, probably shouldn't, so I'll just go King's Landing instead.
I mean, it's up to you. You can go wherever you like.
No, I'm going to go King's Landing.
Okay.
It's his happy place.
And so you ride. And taking your time, you will arrive kind of, it's late spring, early summer. So the sun will still be just about up. Is it kind of those late evening light things? But it will be onwards in the day, so you won't be able to make it too court as such today. And as you push further and further down this road, coming in the opposite direction, a stream of people, of mounted on horseback. There's a Targaryen banner that you see keenly spotted, and they are making great speed down this road.
We'll wheel the horse to the left so I can try and hastily avoid the ditch to get out of their way, as I imagine that this column is going to take up like the entire road. There's no sides. We don't side. Targaryens just bowl down roads.
Yeah.
Even the King's Road.
They own the road.
Or the
This is
Golden
their
Road. This one,
road.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very much that, and it's a procession very much about its business that is not holding back on the pace. A few of the horses froth at the mouth already, but perhaps they are just eager. There's no chatter from amongst the contingent, all focused on the road, and they push past and blow past you. And it will be easy for you to know that this was the protector of the realms, Prince Baelor, who passes. Although it's strange that there isn't more bannermen, more heraldry to announce who it is. It's only your more personal knowledge that makes it kind of... You could pick Baelor out of any crowd. You know your family.
That's fine. I'm sure my nephew...
Yep.
Yeah. Will gather some riders along the way.
And you push back down the road and onwards. Tarla, you have the strangest dream, but you are at least glad to know it is a dream when you wake up. In your dream, you imagine a stag with horns straight out of its forehead, in addition to the antlers that protrude like great arms of a withered tree. And it stares at you with blood-red eyes. Beside you, a hunter stands, but he smells of death. And as he readies his bow, you see Asta stumble out into the clearing before this stag, this hideous beast. And before you can do anything, you awaken again in the camp, the fire crackling.
Okay. What would Marcia do? What would Marcia do? Water. That's it. I grab some water and I hand it. It's okay, Allegra. It's okay. It's all right. And I'll place the water just beside her, and then step back. You fell unconscious. I think you took a nastier hit to the head than you think.
I'll just grab the water and down it, and I'm trying to keep my eyes on him while I'm doing it, but I can't breathe. I'm parched.
Yeah. Is it how long has time passed? Is it a few hours? Is it minutes?
It's probably been about an hour.
Okay. Sort of enough for me to actually start worrying she might be dying. Okay. So you can probably see, like, to his right, he had his kind of what little bag he has, and he's got like all possessions. Like he's been rummaging through it, trying to find something, anything. You could see like there are bits of maybe like bits of plants to his side, and there's multiple, and they're in lines, and it's almost, and he's kind of looking at them, trying to remember which one did what. Trying to remember back through a memory of which one helps and which one brings us, and it's just not working. It's just not happening. And he looked, I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do when someone. Is there anything I can do? What? What?
Did you give me that?
Give you what?
From...
Oh, no, I didn't give you anything. I couldn't decide which one did which, and I was still trying to figure it out. I'm sorry, healing isn't my specialty. I really should have paid. Yeah, probably. He kicks them away. Probably better not, just in case. Look,
sorry.
It's okay. Look, you seem, whatever happened to you, you seem very agitated, scared, and so many things that I don't understand. Is there anything I can do to help? Anything you can think of?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
just need to get home.
Okay. Okay, well... Okay, we'll get you home. Okay, how about this? I had a friend back home. Rob was his name, and he was great with people. He was great with the ladies, young, beautiful ladies. He would always, like be the one to chat to, and I was just on the side, and I would just be awful and just all awkward. So I'm going to try and mimic what he does. They seem to trust him afterwards. So, okay, maybe I won't. Oh dear. I'm sorry. I'm a hunter. It's all I'm good at.
I don't enjoy the company of men like your friend Rob.
Oh, right. Okay. No problem. I mean, he's a lovely person. He's a lovely man.
I'm sure he's very, very nice, but
yeah. Okay. Okay.
I didn't mean to startle you. I'm sorry. I just had a bad dream.
That's okay. That's okay. Wait now. Would you like some food? I made sure it was cooked. I know you're a bit. Would you want me to eat it first to ensure that it's okay?
Charlie, how hungry am I?
Pretty hungry. You haven't eaten in recent memory.
Maybe a little.
Okay. I'll take first, and he'll kind of get the knife that she dropped when she went unconscious, and kind of he's cleaned it so there's not blood on it, and he takes a cut, and he puts it, and he just takes a bite, and eats it. Okay, and he kind of turns the knife to her, handle first, and hands it to her. It's okay to take, and he just lets her have it, and then backs away. Right. Well, at least you're eating. I'd call that progress. Right. Progress. Okay. And he'll head on over, and he'll go to his bow, and he'll start unstringing it. He'll start tending to it, making sure the string is still dry and properly tailored to. And please carry on. I'm just going to be here doing this.
I think you probably me physically relax as the string came off the bow.
Okay.
It's actually quite nice. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you were the one who selected the meat. All I did was just make sure it didn't get burned. So. Yeah. He puts it.
Do you like what you do?
And you see him pause for a moment and consider. Yes, in a sense, yes.
How so? I'll sit a little closer to him so we don't have to shout across a clearing.
Yeah.
I don't know who's listening. I'm more scared of them at the moment.
He pauses. I'm going to trust you with something, okay? Just a secret between us, yes?
Okay.
And he kind of says, I'm actually not just a hunter.
No.
No. I'm actually a knight, if you can believe that. Yeah, most people can't.
So why all of this? Why?
Oh, well, this is a certain. Well, I'm more comfortable with this than in nice clothes. My lady is constantly trying to get me to wear nice clothes, but it doesn't feel right. This just feels more me. Through my childhood, I was in the wilds and hunted, and I felt more at home there, but duty calls, and I had to answer. So I'm heading back home to continue my duty.
Do you want to?
A part of me does. The other part wants to just go back to what I was, a simpler time. I'm not quite decided yet.
I know the feeling.
Oh?
We ladies have those decisions thrust upon us a little more than gentlemen, perhaps. Things that must be done.
Wait, did you say lady? As in, like...
No, just...
Oh, just, okay. He takes a whoo kind of breath. Oh, okay. I mean, we all have our duties, don't we?
I suppose so. I'm not sure if I should really do mine anymore.
Do you not want to?
I don't think so. Nobody would know. All they know, I just vanished out here. Same with you. Could be set upon by a bear tomorrow.
Yes, that I could. But your
Was it
family
worth
would
it?
know. Sorry.
I'll go silent at the mention of my family and go back to eating.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry if anything had happened to you.
I don't know.
Do you
I
have
don't remember.
anyone?
I think so. Maybe. It's all muddled up.
Hopefully, God's willing, in time, it will come back together. Hey, maybe a good night's sleep will jog your memory in the morning.
I look at him almost with a look of pity, like, oh, your problem's that easily solved.
He is grasping at straws.
Was it worth it?
And he'll touch it and kind of wince when he touches it. And you can see it hurts. And, I think about it often, what I would have done differently. And then I think back to the man who taught me how to be a knight. And I asked him what he would think. And every time I ask him, he would smile, put his hand on my shoulder and say, "You did the right thing." I hope I get the chance to him actually do that. It would have been good to see him. I would do it again, because it was the right thing to do.
But it still hurts.
Every day.
I suppose those are the sacrifices that mean something. If it didn't hurt, the gods wouldn't hear it.
I'm not a very religious person, but I suppose that makes a little bit of sense.
I'll keep quiet and carry on eating.
And I'll tend the fire, and Alfred won't sleep tonight. He'll keep watch.
I think Tarla would almost go to sleep. And then when she noticed that he wasn't going to, partly out of fear and partly just if he is nice, like he seems to be, she wouldn't want him to be doing this alone. So she'd go and sit with him. How should we spend the time then if you're not to sleep? You tell stories?
Okay, I think that's a good idea. You go first.
Once upon a time, there was a horse. The set devil. He could run 50 fathoms with his feet on fire and then turn around and do the return journey in the same day. One day that horse ran into the mists and vanished. And it's almost like somebody's hit pause on my face. Like, it goes on for too long. You can't tell where my mind's gone.
Allegra?
I don't know how it ends. Sorry. That wasn't
That's
a very
okay.
good story.
It was fine. And it was the first attempt.
Make an awareness notice for Alfred.
Dear. I think I have negatives for my awareness. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think I have a -1 dice, I think.
Chat are telling me we've hit 30.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh cool. I have a -1. Not a -1 dice, but a -1
Okay.
to awareness. Okay, still not great, but you know.
You hear something moving beyond fringes of the dying fire.
Okay.
Something... It doesn't sound big enough to be a person. Probably an animal.
Okay.
But with that 8, you can't tell exactly the direction of it out in the dark.
Okay.
You just know something's out there moving around.
So at this point, Alfred would have just been just talking, just doing a story. Noticing that Tarla had stopped, he tried to make a story of his own, something a bit more light-hearted, maybe at a time where, I don't know, he did something really stupid, like, I don't know, he's helping Marzia and he dropped everything and it was just something really silly. And then he'll stop mid-sentence and look and slowly rise. And he'll reach down to his bow, and then he would slowly but very quickly, well, not he would very quickly kind of wrap it round. He's done it 1,000,000 times. He knows how to do it really quick, and he'll go, "Stay there, Tarla. I think I hear something." And he'll kind of point over to the direction where he thinks he heard it to see if Allegra can see what it is.
And Allegra Gaunt still has this slightly vacant expression. I imagine Tarla's trying to concentrate and trying to focus, but it's just dark out there for you.
He'll draw an arrow and just notch it on the bow. He goes, "It's all right, Allegra. Most likely just an animal, but could be a bear." And he kind of like a little smirk. Oh, it's probably not a bear. It's too small. And he'll wait.
And as you wait, a tense moment passes. And then whatever it is draws ever closer. You can hear it. It's picking up speed as it comes towards you.
Okay, he's going to step in front of Allegra, and he's going to draw the bow.
And bounding out of a bush, a large black dog, its tail wagging wildly, its tongue lolling out as it pants at you.
Oh. He puts the bow, the arrow. Jeez. Oh, he puts it down, and he'll go down and give it a hello, boy. What are you doing out here?
And its tongue, it kind of licks all over your fingers and hands, and it kind of snuffles and shuffles around and moves kind of past you towards the fire to investigate.
The meat. Alfred will kind of quickly head over to the.
I'll already have a piece of meat in my hand, just like, hello, who are you? Would you like some? And holding it up like I would do the dogs back at home.
And the dog kind of stands for a moment, but then instinctively, as you raise it higher and its head goes back, its bum drops, and its tail is just sweeping the brush litter backwards and forwards.
Good boy. And I hold my hand out for it to sniff me.
Okay, animal handling charm, please, Tarla.
Okay, hang on a second. 17.
I see chat.
You my dog now.
And it sniffs your hand, this big wet nose. It's kind of somewhere between like a mastiff and a lab kind of mix in appearance. This dark dog.
Does it have
wet
a collar?
nose? No.
Okay.
I'll let it sniff my hand and then slowly reach back to sort of scratch behind the ears. But I'm letting the dog very much guide this. This is a strange dog, and I don't want it to bite my hand off.
And it tilts its head, but it's very like drawn to your hands, and it licks them, and it's trying to find the meat. It knows you had meat, and it doesn't know where you made it disappear to.
Okay, I want to see if this is a dog that has been trained or if it's just a dog that is socialized. So I'll hold the meat up and then put it down like a straight down motion to see if it'll lie down on the command.
And it kind of looks bemused for a second, its head cocked to the side, it kind of just like follows it down and then is staring at where you've put the hand down, and then it looks at you, and it looks back at the hand, like, I know where the meat's done. I see it. I see what you've done. Down there. And its tail is just going wag, wag, wag.
I'll scrumble it behind the ears a bit and then throw the meat for it to catch.
And it jumps and it snatches that meat out of the air and begins to eat it. But as this has happened, neither of you have noticed the man that leans against the tree watching. And he just clears his throat.
As he clears his throat, I draw and point an arrow at him instantaneously.
I pull the knife out from my skirts and it's pointless, but...
And he lets out a low whistle. Dog who whimpers slightly and looks to you both, looks towards where the rest of the meat is. Another sharp, low whistle, and he turns and bounds back to the man. What do we have here, then?
Alfred again move over, kind of like next to Tarla. Is it wise to approach a person's camp so quietly in the night?
Is it wise to go poaching on the king's lands, I wonder?
Yes, it depends if you get caught.
Did you know that we...
He'll look down and kind of, and then look back up. What do you want?
He looks to Tarla, kind of measuring in his mind, and then down to the meat by the fire, and then to your very fine bow in hand. Well, looks like you killed one deer. Is that it?
That's it. Just one deer.
And what about you, little miss? What have you been killing out in my woods?
Almost myself. Does that count?
Careful where that blade slips, little miss. The night
I'll
is
just
dark
hold
and
my
full of
hand up.
terrors.
You can see a crisscross of like the fresh cut and an old one.
These are your woods?
I'll protect them for the king. Make sure none of his little deers get hurt. None of his little rabbits get trapped in snares that don't belong to the king.
I'm sure the king could lose one little deer.
Tom, would you like to make a persuasion roll?
No! I would not! Because I get another negative on persuasion rolls. I get... Oh my fuck. Oh,
I
no,
mean,
wait,
if you're
I
being
don't.
super sarcastic, I guess you could roll deception, but I'm pretty
No,
sure you're trying to convince him.
He doesn't know I'm a bastard, so no, I don't. But I do have to re-roll sixes.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. 7.
Did you use convince on that?
I have nothing. I've just got persuade.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking him out of it. I'm not intimidating him. I'm talking him out of it. Trying to diffuse the
Right.
situation.
It always starts with one, doesn't it? And then you get hungry again. Or you want to buy something for your little miss. And then it's another deer.
We're just trying to get home.
Oh, where's your home, little miss?
That is a very good question.
And he looks back to Alfred. The cost of a deer. It's not worth us shedding blood over now, is it, friend?
I'd like to agree.
Give me the deer's price and we'll pretend it never happened.
And how much
Accidents
is
do happen in the forest, even to blessed little deers.
And how much is a deer's price in the Crownlands?
And he kind of sucks on his cheeks and taps his chin. The dog is led down and its eyes are just looking at you, Tarla. Its ears twitching ever so slightly.
I kind of beckon it over. Hold out the hand that had the meat in it.
Okay, so
It's
another
almost
animal handling
absent.
charm for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say you give me 2 stags for 1 deer. And I'll forget I saw you.
That's
Oh,
a
if
20.
I... Wow.
The puppy is now commando crawling across the floor towards the meat.
Oh, I do not want this dog to chew my leg. I don't even think I have 2 stags. Pretty sure I didn't. How about a counter offer? Because alas, I don't have 2 stags. You take what's left of the deer, the pelts and all. You can sell that for probably close enough to the price, or even feed yourself for a long time.
How is this gentleman dressed?
He is in pretty kind of dark fur pelts over what you can just make out as probably the shape of like a leather armor underneath.
Mm-hmm. So he looks fairly
Relatively
well
put
looked
together.
after?
Mm-hmm.
My lord, forgive me for assuming I don't know your personal situation, but you seem as though this wouldn't make a difference. It would make a difference to us, and we don't want to be here any more than you want us here. This gentleman, from what I know of him, has had troubles. And you could lessen them by letting him go.
Persuasion convince, please, from Tarla. The man is taken a few steps closer, apparently not aware that the dog is doing much the same. And he's getting a better look at Alfred's face and then over at the pelts, inspecting the quality with which you've kind of slaughtered the animal.
That's a 24.
And Tarla, he becomes much more attentive as you speak more and catches the pleading in your eyes. All right, I'll take the pelts. Don't care for deer meat. Your little miss looks skinny. Feed her up if I were you.
You can
Alfred
visibly see me bite my tongue.
Yeah, Alfred's
And
kind
he
of just...
just drags the tip of his tongue across his lips.
Alfred's just staring at, not taking his eye off him.
And he
I'm still
reaches
petting the
down
dog.
to take the pelt. Just very slow reach motion down to grab the pelt in your personal space as he does so.
Oh, I wouldn't let him get that close. I'd still be kind of like... I want to be at a distance where I can at least get an arrow loose before he comes.
Okay, so as he's approaching then, you see he's approaching.
Yeah.
Coming closer and closer to get that pelt.
Okay. I'll tell him to stop. Hold it there. And he'll get back. He'll pick up the pelt and toss it to him.
And he'll grab it as it's tossed. Put it over his shoulder. First side down. Well, you best get moving, little strays.
No wonder your dog's so affectionate.
What's that, little miss?
Your dog. He's nice. I hope he helps.
And he lets out a sharp whistle. The dog's ears kind of go up, but he kind of stays with you at your hand.
I'll just man's gaze just for a second and then shift backwards to show the animal that I'm sort of releasing my interest in it.
And the dog looks back to its master and then to you. Daft mutt.
It was only the meat.
It's amazing the things you can buy for a little meat. And he kind of grabs the dog by the scruff of its neck and kind of hauls it back.
Not everything.
Be on your way.
Come on. I think I can find us a better camping spot than this. And he's going to start picking up his things.
Mm-hmm. And you pack up the camp, and you can hear the dog whimper slightly as it's kind of dragged back through the trees. The man stalking off.
I'll hold his gaze for as long as he holds mine and then watch him as he vanishes. You can see my hands clenched into fists, just trying to keep control of my tongue.
And Alfred now, I mean, we're not going to sleep. I think very much assume that. So Alfred now is going to... crap, it's dark, isn't it?
Sure.
Shit. Okay, so he's going to head a bit further away. He's going to find another place to kind of just settle down. And his plan in the morning is to try and find a village nearby.
Okay, so you break camp and remake a spot. Millie, is there anything else you'd like to do before we cut away?
No, I think I'm good. Tarla would be fighting the urge to rescue that dog and to give that man a bit of a verbal hiding, but no, now is bad plan. I think she pushed her luck quite enough.
All right. And let's go back to King's Landing. Jamie, about 20 minutes from where you would be reaching the gates of the city, a rider has come out to find you. They deliver word that people in the capital are looking for you, that your sister is in trouble, and that Wendell Gaunt is at Bellamy's house, or has been to Bellamy's house to speak with you. And Allegra, you've had a very tense afternoon waiting for Jamie to turn up. Know that your summons to court is to be today, and that the court will only wait so long for you to present evidence. And Wendell, you too have faced a waiting game. But Jamie, as you meet this rider, what do you do?
Thank you very much for this message. Where did you say you were from again?
One of Bellamy's friends. Charlie uses the same voice for all men now.
Bellamy's friends. Yes, of course. Thank you, Bellamy's friends.
And you can see a kind of a fat coin purse at this guy's side. I imagine Bellamy's the kind of guy who has his own like fabric coin purses that he gives out whenever he's giving money to people.
Fair.
It's one of his strange, lavish quirks.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I will still proceed into King's Landing. Taking one of the lesser used gates to the city. So not on the Rose Road. Wait, where are we? The Golden Road. It's on the Golden Road. Yeah, consult the map. Showers coming down from the north. So not taking the gate that's on the Golden Road, but maybe just circling round towards the south a little bit and heading in one of the quieter gates to the city.
Okay. And you pass through kind of a field of gorse, which kind of lines the paths that lead up to this kind of side gate. The guards on the gate kind of ask your identification, but they seem relatively relaxed, enjoying the sun as it's moved on into the afternoon.
Fair enough. Am I? Are they particularly bothered by me, or they just let me through?
Not especially. They kind of ask who you are, but they don't seem. It's kind of like the postman asking you to sign something. They don't really care what you put down as long as they get a name they can say later.
I will give them Jaharis fucking Waters. Thank you very much.
All right.
That's what I give. Don't. And I will ride towards Sir Bellamy's because unless Allegra let me know where she was staying.
You haven't actually had contact with your sister beyond this rider that you met on the road telling you your sister's looking for you and Wendell Gaunt's been to Bellamy's.
Okay.
As unfortunately you left before Allegra's Raven would have arrived at Famine's Hold.
Shucks. All right. Go to Sir Bellamy's.
You come in and there is a small gathering at the house. Bellamy is apparently picking out some new outfits, and he has his assistants modeling for him.
Good.
These are scantily clad women trying on oversized men's clothes and prancing around, having a jolly good time, drinking wine.
All right, cool. I will slowly, I'll just a very light rap on the door that's probably ajar or whatever, I don't know, and slip inside, grabbing a goblet with a little wine, to watch this procession. I will quietly either wait for it to end or wait for someone to notice me.
And I think it is Bellamy who spots you. He's kind of going down the row of women and then kind of passes over you to begin with, kind of just a little bit back behind the line. And then he doubles back and is like, one of these is not like the other. Jamie, when did you slip in?
I mean, I could put on your clothes as well if you like.
Well, wouldn't you like that? Wouldn't it be an improvement on whatever it is that you're wearing?
Sir.
Oh, come on, Jamie. It's very drab. One day you will dress like a Targaryen. Perhaps.
I appear to be a very popular person, according to one of your friends.
Oh, yes. And you can tell he's like well in his wine. He was busy making jokes. He goes, oh, how's your family, by the way?
Doing better.
Good. Glad to hear it. And the men served you well?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Wendell Gaunt came this morning, very early, very prompt kind of fellow. Delightful. Joy to be around. Wants a word with you, which I'm imagining is to do with whatever it is your sister is up to with Lord Otherus. Made quite a scene from what I can gather.
Whatever is my sister up to with Otherus?
Well, if rumour and Wendell Gaunt are to be believed, your sister has decided the Gaunts are behind the poisoning, and she wants something annulled. He kind of frowns and he kind of squints at the end of his nose, and then he looks at paperwork and kind of shuffles through.
Fuck.
It's rather troubling, Jamie, if it is a poisoning and not a sickness, you know.
Gaunt Maester, who arrived at our holdfast in order to help us, believes it was a poisoning too. I have no reason to believe he is lying to us.
Oh dear.
Where is my sister?
No, staying over at, and he's kind of waving and he's kind of searching for a name.
The gold
Tall
dragon.
woman. Yes, it's the one.
She always picks the most ridiculous names to stay at. Very well.
But Jamie, it is bad news if it is a poisoning. This is the second case of a breach of hospitality in days, apparently.
I'm sorry.
Baylor just left to ride south to the Reach. Apparently they're murdering each other down there.
Sounds
At
like the Reaches
feasts
to
of all
me.
places. And he takes like a big hunk of cheese and just bites into it and puts it down.
Doubly so. Thank you, my friend. Take care. He downs the wine and goes.
Has gone too. And he's like adding little bits of like information in your direction as you're leaving.
I'll head back into the street though, and I'll head straight for the Golden Dragon.
Okay. Allegra. It is basically the last minute before you know your chance is gonna go. As you've paced, I imagine, the Golden Dragon. You've sent someone to Bellamy's, knowing that's where Jamie frequents, knowing that the second he gets there, he should hopefully get word and turn around and come and find you. But the sun is shifting cooler. The afternoon is pressing on. Donella has quite the collection of little things, some of which you have no idea where she got them.
Is there anything particularly notable in there?
Nothing that particularly strikes your interest as much as that pair of silver stags and the little note that you had been gifted.
Just on a meta level, is there perhaps a silvered hairbrush in there?
There is a silvered hairbrush.
Huh,
in her
about that.
possession.
Donella, you little snake. Okay, so Allegra still has the 2 coins. And she has the note. And she's keeping them both very... She turned to, her dress, right next to her boobs. So if anybody was trying to pickpocket her, they'd have to go digging and she'd feel it. And so she's waiting and she's pacing and she's still pissed off with Donella, but she's trying to keep a cooler head about it and prepare. She checks her appearance once, twice, 6 times in the mirror, and she's just, we've got to go. Donella, get your things.
And Donella has been ready for the last 3 hours to go. But she kind of sits up straight and then stands and brushes down her dress.
All right. Let's go.
And you make your way across the square, past one of the fountains of King's Landing, past one of the septs, and up the stairs towards the Red Keep.
As we pass the sept, Allegra turns to Donella and she says, when I'm meeting with Lord Otheris, you will go to the sept and you will pray and ask for forgiveness.
She looks to the building, then to you, and then nods.
Good girl. All right. And keep walking.
Sorry, I was just reading a message in chat. And you keep walking and reach the Red Dragon and are told your sister has not long left and has made her way in that direction. The innkeeper points. And it is a tall woman who owns this inn. You'll meet her.
Yeah. I will assume she is heading towards the Red Keep, so I will I will surmise the quickest route possible and head in that direction at canter. Quickly, whatever the horse word is. We sell horses.
We are horse people. We will be on horseback for all of this encounter. So yeah, you kind of wheel your horse around, push down a few side alleys, avoiding the main thoroughfare where there are usually markets and things like that until you come to the stairs. And Wendell Gaunt, I imagine you've been waiting at the Red Keep.
Yes.
Preparing to answer your summons. And you see Allegra coming up the stairs with her daughter in tow.
You'll give a polite bow, as is proper.
You get a slight nod of acknowledgement, but no niceties. Because I remember the day of the tourney and how snooty Wendell was, and Allegra's not about it. A side note, Allegra has kind of been walking Donella a little bit faster than she should, just so she's got that little sheen of sweat, just to add to that. She's very sick. Look. She's a monster, okay?
She's brilliant. I love her. I love her.
She is. And Jamie, from the bottom of the stairs, you can see your sister's curt greeting of Wendell Gaunt, Donella in tow.
Well, if no one's going to interrupt, I'll rush up the stairs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was going to wait till you come a bit closer and he'll give a slight nod. And go, Sir Jamie.
Allegra. My name is Donella.
Jamie.
Lord Wendell.
It's nice of you to finally join us, Jamie.
I was hoping to have a word with you, Jamie, before this unpleasantness were to begin. How long do we have? Or is it like literally minutes?
You imagine court's probably going to be in session for like another hour.
Okay.
But it's one of those like you should be in and like in front of people. You shouldn't keep them waiting kind of deals.
Yeah. If you have the time, I would awfully like to have a word with you.
I'm afraid, my lord, you have me at a disadvantage. Would somebody like to fill me in?
And in the background at this moment, the court crier says, "Baylor, rise south for the reach! Murder at dawn!" And there's like a titter from the crowd, and one of the bards strikes up playing the Dornishman's Wife.
I swear they only know one song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jamie, we are here as we are calling the Crown to action for the massacre at our hold. And she shoots Wendell like a shitty look.
Wendell kind of just an eye over to her and back to Jamie. Your half-sister has wrongfully accused House Gaunt of organizing the poisoning at Famine Hole.
I'm sure there's been some mistake, my lord. Your maester, his name.
That's a very good point. I think I got it somewhere. Which one did we send? Is
Otto.
Maester Otto. Maester Otto.
Otto is your maester, and
They have two?
Horace. Well, Horace is the one they sent you in when you needed a maester as part of the agreement. And Otto is the actual maester.
Otto, right. Was very helpful in determining the poisoning of the wine barrel, he says, staring at Allegra.
Oh dear.
I see. So it was a poisoning then.
Yes, but do you really think that his lordship would send his own maester to diagnose that for us?
I don't know. I wouldn't put anything past them. Besides, in the course of my investigation of the massacre at our home, I found out something much more serious and sinister, which I'm sure Lord Others would like to know about.
He'll eye her. Something more sinister.
Jamie comes to stand between them and actually kind of right up to Allegra, just more so that his mouth is starting to lean in towards her left ear, and says, "Something more that you might like to share before we walk into this charade."
And she will look past him to Wendell, and she looks him dead in the eyes and says, "Treason."
He looks genuinely confused.
You should practice that. Look, it wasn't quite convincing.
Allegra, my lady, what are you talking about?
Oh, you'll find out shortly. Shall we? We don't want to keep them waiting.
Allegra, if this is a play, your tactics must be bound in mortar and brick.
Trust me, Jamie. For once in your...
Very well. Shall we?
And Allegra will walk ahead.
Jamie, I am sorry for what is about to happen.
So am I.
And he'll enter.
And the court is relaxed, strangely. A lot of people are kind of idling in patches of sunlight in this room up beyond the large table that has been set up for Valerian to work at today. The Iron Throne looms in the background. There's a minstrel playing kind of background tunes. Sounds like his instrument is poorly tuned, but no one has kind of corrected him. And people gossip and chat between them. Allegra's decisive movement as she moves into the space draws everyone's attention. And as the din grows quieter, Valerian looks up. Is there anything you would like to note, Jamie or Wendell, in your approach?
That they wouldn't have noticed, as Jamie is the last to walk into court. He will have buggered off to the left up to a gallery.
Okay. Flank up. Cool.
Yep.
And Tom, anything for Wendell?
Wendell will go... Are there any scepters in here, or is it just all lords?
I'm gonna let a dice decide.
Okay.
Odds there are, because 7 is odd, and evens there aren't. It's an even. There is no apparent scepter in this room.
In that case, he will identify lords that he knows and is somewhat friendly with, and would stand next to them.
Okay, you find a couple of your neighbors here. There's someone from House Rosby in attendance. They're relatively close neighbors, and you can kind of go and stand with them. And Allegra, you have center stage and attention. As Lord Otheris looks up to you, and he smiles a wide grin and sits back in his chair as if it's a throne and he is a king. Quite comfortable in his position.
And Allegra will fix him back with the same sort of easy smile, as if this is just two friends having a drink rather than her stood in front of the whole court. And she will bow deeply and say, "My Lord Others."
My Lady Dorsey.
I've come with the evidence of the treason against... the attack against my household. However, I did want to bring it to the court's attention that in my investigation, I found out something much more troubling. And she's like got this face on like that. Oh no.
The court are enraptured. Why don't you share?
You see, it appears my neighbor, Maidenhouse's neighbor, and she gestures across to Wendell Gaunt, had aspirations other than destroying my family. Not only my maiden house, but my married house too. And she sort of gestures to Donella, who's probably got a bit of a sheen on, she's looking a bit sick. My daughter was one of the victims. No, Lord Otherus, what I have to show you is much more serious in nature. And she steps up to the table and she reaches into her dress and she pulls out that letter wrapped around the 2 black fire coins and hands it to him.
He takes it, unwinds it, and you hear the 2 coins hit the table. One kind of bounces and trickles onto the floor, rolling all the way down the court to your feet. People follow it and watch it, curious. And he's a bit of a showman, and he kind of looks, and you can tell he's got everyone's attention. And he reads the letter aloud. Ada, I have made a blood offering. You will need to as well, D. And these coins. And he grabs the one that's still on the table. And he he does that thing where he runs the coin kind of over the back of his hand and then turns it up and looks at it. There have been quite a few of these coins in the capital recently. Tell me, what is the association here? I'm not sure I am following. A letter and 2 traitor's coins.
That letter is from a member of House Gaunt to my cousin, who was mysteriously absent on the night of the poisoning, which my Lord Gaunt here can attest from his maester was in fact a poisoning. The wine barrel, you see, was poisoned.
So this is blood money. And the bard in the distance hits a really bum note, which only heightens everything.
This shows intentions, my lord. I have received intercepted, as it were, another number of correspondences, some of them nonsense. One, however, is quite troubling. 3 dragons and a strange symbol.
Show me. And he waves you forward even closer.
And she pulls out the notes.
And
all
his
of them,
eyes,
even the nonsense ones.
Okay. And his eyes kind of flick to Wendell Gaunt, who he saw kind of come in with you and stand off to the side. And he looks to Donella, and any of that kind of showmanship charm that he'd been playing is gone. He's now serious. And he lays out the letters in front of him and is reading them quietly to himself. And he makes a note on a fresh page of his ledger. My Lord Gaunt, what do you have to say to this?
He'll step forward. And he will nod his head. My lord, these accusations against House Gaunt are based in nothing but a piece of paper with bits of writing on, barely worthy of evidence. In regards to her Lady Allegra's accusation that we had anything to do with what happened at Vermin's Hall is just folly. Why would we want to poison a house that we are marrying into, that my own bride-to-be was there? Why would I risk hurting her? Secondly, we were the ones who came forward to offer aid when it happened. Through our own cost, we sent forth a maester to administer to healing and to help find out what went wrong, which, as Lady Allegra will also say, that he found out that it was poison. Tell me, what kind of house would poison another and then send a maester to say it was poisoned? A foolish house. And these notions of traitors. Remind me, Lady Allegra, remind me, what house did Tremaine fight on during the Blackfire Rebellion?
Tremaine chose their own side. I would like it noted, however, that House Dorsey, my house, have remained good and loyal subjects to the crown, and in fact, are offering their warships in this time of need.
Yes, your house, Lady Allegra. Dorsey, not Tremaine. Why
Enough,
is
my
your...
lady, lord. Enough.
As you wish.
And he kind of considers what you've said and makes a note. And I'd like you both to roll initiative. And Sam, if you can roll just for Jamie as well, and then you can jump on in if Jamie ever does decide to get involved.
Okay. So this is status breeding, right? For initiative.
This will be status breeding.
Okay. So let me get the cheat sheet up because I'm going to need it. I'm so not used to intrigue.
You're on my turf now, Tom. Let's go.
That's what I'm worried about. Let me just quickly... Okay.
And I'm just going to open up the sheet that I need.
12.
Okay.
I think I did that right.
Mine's actually going to be a 9 if Ortheris's status is above mine.
What is your status rank?
3.
Yes.
Oh no, sorry, that's persuasion test, not status tests. So it's 13.
Okay. So we've got a 13 from Jamie, a 12 from Tom for
11
Wendell,
for me.
and an 11 for Allegra. Just getting my little sheet open. Then I will go and change the music back because it's not doing what I would like it to do. Although the crow is very appropriate, to be honest. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and shocking no one, Valerian is going to go first. My lord and my lady, the bickering will resolve nothing. Before me I have 4 notes and 2 coins. The notes, as you say, Sir Wendell, are little more than a few words and scribbles. I am, however, troubled by this concept of a blood offering. But I see no evidence here that these notes have come from your house beyond the testimony of the Lady Dorsey. My Lady Dorsey, I do not want you thinking that I am not taking seriously the accusation that someone has attempted to murder those at your house, which, if I am to believe what I am told, included your uncle, Lord Defend Valerian, and Lord Bastian Will at the time. A threat to your immediate family, your daughter, your sisters, your brothers, of course, are of utmost importance as well. I do not, however, have before me a maester to tell me their findings, nor a scepter to offer their wisdom. I have simply her word and his word in this case. Tell me, Sir Gaunt, what am I to believe about these events? He's considering.
Okay. history of House Gaunt and House Tremaine is not a secret. We have not always seen eye to eye for many generations. And I believe it is the crown that saw that wanted to make a marriage between the two households to bridge that animosity, to see if we can put the past behind us and look to the future. Lady Allegra seems to not be able to do that. It seems that she is merely using this as a ploy to annul the engagement between myself and the Lady Tarla. It seems to me that there is no evidence behind this, that she's just merely grasping at straws, hoping to annul the marriage.
Okay, Tom. So that seemed like a persuasion convince. What was your action? Influence?
Sure? Yes, influence, sure, why not?
Okay, so influence is like your social attack.
Yeah.
So you will roll your persuasion convince, and this will be against intrigue defense.
Okay. Stay with me.
Sorry. We're gonna push it a bit late, friends, because Nuno and Shauna aren't with us, who do have games later on in the evening. Hopefully that's gonna be okay with all of our players.
10. I don't think I'm gonna last very long with Allegra, mind you. It's just gonna blow me out of the water. So
Okay.
you know.
On a 10, you find Valerian Otherus very difficult to read in his response to your words. You can see a number of the court kind of turning between them, however, to discuss the point that you've raised, and Rosby over your shoulder gives a nod that they agree with your words.
It seems to me that Lady Allegra has taken this opportunity to try and annul the engagement.
My lady, are you taking advantage of a tragic circumstance to annul a marriage?
My
And he
lord,
invites you to speak, Allegra.
I am here out of concern, out of fear for not only myself, my family, but for the realm. I so dearly hope that I am wrong, that my neighbor here did not do this. And yes, it is true that my evidence is scant in nature, but is so often the case in plots as this. He asked why they would send someone straight away. Why, of course, that makes perfect sense. Make yourself appear to be helpful, make yourself appear to be an ally, and you are the last one on the list of suspects. Now, I am not going to insult my lord's intelligence here and pretend that he is not capable of a scheme such as this. And these notes in which I found in the household and directed to a family member who was not there on the day trouble me deeply, especially those concerning the crown. With the discovery of the coins it's troublesome. And again, I dearly hope that I am proven wrong. That this is all wrong. But I am acting with my heart here, with my conscience to do what is right.
Alright, Susie, would you like to take your action?
Yeah, I'm gonna incite Valerian.
Okay.
So let me get the cheat sheet up. It's just an influence, though. She's gonna just like smash him with influence, but using insight to do so.
Okay, are you being perceptive as well, however?
I mean, she does genuinely believe the Gaunts did it.
Okay. As long as that is your genuine belief, then you can use perception. Persuasion.
Okay. What? It's a persuasion test, so I get to reroll once. So let me reroll 2 of those. Okay, that will be a 22.
Bear with me 2 seconds, just double checking. That is a success with 2 points. 2 degrees.
Okay, so that is, let me double check the cheat sheet. An insight is a cunning rank times 2, so that would be 6.
Okay. Minus his disposition towards you. Okay, good to know. I've made a note of that. He quacks the corner of his mouth, so he's almost impressed by your performance, by your conviction in this moment. And he glances at Wendell. There's a slight suspicion. Tell me, sir, why would the lady so willingly offer up a member of her family in this plot if it were not the truth? For if it is the truth, and this court finds it to be so, I am fairly certain the member of her family will be seeking an audience with the stranger in short course. For this would be a grave plot indeed, potentially treasonous. An execution is what follows such treasonous act.
As it should be. I confess I do not know what the mind of my lady goes through when she does such things. It is very possible that she truly believes that we are responsible, but just because someone believes it to be true does not make it true.
Look at these letters for me and tell me, are they by the hand of a Gaunt written?
So I'll head up. I'll have a look. Are they all... I don't know all the letters and what's in Axel because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But are they all by Delia?
They're all signed D, which is short for Della.
Della. Okay. He will look at
which
them.
Which authentic is your younger sister. Just
yes, I remember. He will look at them. And as he sees, it will kind of like... He will tense a little. And he'll look. They are letters written by my younger sister, Della.
Okay, and he is going to retarget on you for his action, and then I'll let you take your action in the exchange. So for retarget, I've gone to the wrong page. Our retarget is an awareness empathy test versus your passive deception. If successful, I learn your disposition towards me, the last technique you use, and I'll gain on dice to my next persuasion. With my consider action, I gained 2 bonus dice to this roll from my last action.
Don't have a high deception, so it shouldn't be hard.
Okay. But please continue the roleplay while I grab all the dice I'm going to need to make this roll.
Oh my god. Okay, so he, at the moment, he's going to take his time to read through the letters, and for a lot of them, this is him reading them for the first time. So he's trying to absorb all the information. And as he keeps reading, inside he feels more and more upset as he's remembering his younger sister, who is no longer with us, how her decline into madness, and what they eventually had to do. And eventually he just kind of stops and pauses, and he will I would like to pause and consider his next action while he processes all this information that he's just seen.
Okay, and I rolled 17 against your passive deception.
Oh, yeah. I think his deception is 2, so isn't that like 3 times? That's 8, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, 8.
4 times, yeah.
So I just need to know your position, Valerian, and
friendly.
the last technique you used.
and I used influence, wasn't it? No.
Yes.
Technique.
Yeah,
yes.
persuasion.
Convince. Convince.
Yeah, convince. Perfect. And he seems to believe your words and your reaction to the letters in front of you. Just for your memory, Tom, or your information, the letters are, there's the blood offering one.
Yeah.
There's one that's basically begging Ada to find her true siblings. There is also one that warns about the mother of beasts that must be stopped.
Okay.
You can find them all on the Crownlands World Anvil under Notes from Della.
Okay. So yeah, at the moment he's processing, he's considering it, so I'm taking the consider action, which means I give up my action. In exchange to get a 2 bonus next exchange.
2 bonus. Yep. Which is what he did. His attention turns back to you, Allegra. As he seems curious by both of you seemingly being so truthful in your presentation and these notes which contain very little. Lady Allegra Dorsey, Sir Wendell has made a good point that you are Lady Dorsey. Tell me, does anyone from House Maid come to answer the case that you make? Come to assist you? Shall we wait another day for them to ride from Famine's Hold?
From the balcony, he hears, "My lord."
And he kind of cranes his neck up, and there's like one of those beams of light from the late afternoon that's kind of like straight into his face as he tilts up and he squints trying to see who it is. The court's going, "Oh, it's Jamie Walters." Whisper, whisper, whisper. Cabbage, cabbage, cabbage.
Snacks thing, don't worry, it's easy.
See.
Yeah.
My lord! Pulls up.
Jamie will slowly, dramatically walk down the steps and approach the dais.
And people kind of clear the way for you. And everyone watches, the same as they had with Allegra, but they're now watching Jamie come forward. Why don't you describe Jamie for us and his kind of countenance as you push down to the dais?
So he's wearing a fairly slim-fitting black with gold trim surcoat. And his hair is always just a little greasy with mostly brown, with a Targaryen streak running across the kind of fringe that flops down to his left-hand side. And he's got a rather, pardon the pun, gaunt expression, a gaunt face, and is quite thin to regard as a figure, quite lanky. But yeah, he approaches, says,
Allegra, as Jamie approaches, sort of turns to both of them and says, "My lord Otherus, may I introduce our brother, Sir Jamie Waters."
And he kind of turns, takes in Jamie, and gives a nod. And where do you stand on this matter?
"My lord, I confess I do not know. Whilst the ill blood between our houses," he looks at Wendell, I keep forgetting his name.
Wendell, yeah.
Wendell. As he just briefly looks at Wendell, is known and is a long history. Their maester, Maester Otto, who came to a house after the loss of so many of our friends and family, including the disappearance of our sister, Lady Tarla, my lords, the betrothal you mentioned. This maester was very helpful to us indeed, and I believe did not issue us any ill will as he looks at Allegra. I would ask maybe that the court reconsider and perhaps allow further investigation, or perhaps even a more private trial with Lord Wendell. And I'm actually wanting to target Allegra.
Okay. So make your roll, Sam.
It's not a bold move, mate. You've got to get you out of this.
Uh-huh.
Or I could just let you die here, that's fine.
The sass is real in the group today.
That's just 3 dice. I'm not taunting, seducing, or intimidating. I'm convincing, apparently. 9.
Nah, fam.
Okay.
It is an interesting case you present. And he kind of looks between the two of you. And then over to Wendell. I believe we are looking at multiple instances which should be investigated. First, the claim of a plot between House Gaunt and your relative, Lady Darcy. Second, the claim that this plot could entail treason, which is punishable by death. And thirdly, this annulment to a sister that is apparently missing. This information was not brought to my attention earlier. Lady Allegra, what is it that you want the court to do today?
I stand firm by my earlier assertion. Annul any and all agreement between the two houses.
You can make a roll if you'd like, Susie.
Mm-hmm. And she's gonna just stick with that.
Yeah?
Smashing his incitement. Let's go. Bam. Oh, that's a lot. 2 6s. That's a 25.
That is 3 degrees of success. It is not double his intrigue defense, however, so you don't get the crit effects.
Damn. Okay. So that was 3, sorry, did you say?
Yes.
That's 9 then.
Okay. Minus his disposition towards you, which you elevated last. So you removed a little bit of his soak. And he sits back. There is no evidence here for us. So many factors are missing. But I will concede. Someone must face a trial here today to answer for this crime, and that man will be Wendell Gaunt, who represents the Gaunts. Since we have no man to offer us words, nor letter to offer us true evidence in this case, this will go before the gods. Wendell Gaunt, you will face a trial by combat against House Tremaine. Lady Allegra Dorsey, you may offer your own champion. And he's, like, clearly not in a good mood. He's in a position where he's got to make a decision, because everyone is now watching, and he's been left in charge, and he's got no good way of balancing these books. And you've incited him into an action.
Yeah. When shall this trial take place, my lord?
Today.
Fuck.
And Wendell will stand and he'll look and turn and to Allegra and go and turn to her and say, present your champion.
And someone from the back kind of jeers. Unless she wants to fight herself. And the minstrel there's this awkward pause as you are obviously considering this, and the minstrel kind of takes this moment to begin playing the bear and the maiden fair. Because minstrels always there to provide comedic relief in terrible times when men are about to probably kill each other.
Can someone kill that minstrel for us, please? Thank you. Or
So
you
Sam,
stand alone,
Pick the minstrel.
my lady.
Yeah.
Valerian kind of turns to you, Allegra, and says, "You have 1 hour, and you will meet me down by the shore." And he describes to you a place where people kind of go to train. It's that scene that we just watched where Jamie goes to train with Bronn. It's that place right on the ocean, down the side of the cliffs. I don't want blood spilled on a floor that is not mine.
very well. In 1 hour, I will meet you there with a champion.
And if you don't, Lady Dorsey, the court will find that you have made a false accusation against House Gaunt, and there will be severe consequences.
I understand. After that, might I have your ear regarding the ships? And she fixes him a smile.
Make a quick roll for a persuasion. I'm going to say you're at -1D for this because he is focusing on something very immediate to him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me do... Nope, roll the... I'm gonna drop 2.
And then I'll say, Jamie can interject, and then Wendell Gaunt, you can take your turn, Tom.
Oh, hang on, I rolled a 1. It doesn't matter, it's 20.
Okay. And he closes his ledger and says, "When things are done, there will be lots to talk about."
Excellent.
Sam.
So Allegra's gonna turn, look at Wendell, give him the shittiest look she can muster, take Donella gently by the arm, and just swan out of there. She doesn't even look at Jamie.
And what does Jamie do, Sam?
Probably that.
At anyone in particular, or just at the
No.
sky, or?
Cursing the fucking gods.
Alright. And Tom.
Wendell's
Wendell
going to come
Gaunt
up
do?
next to Jamie. He's just going to stand next to him, and he's... We could be working together to find out who truly attacked the Tremaines. But now we have to play your sister's farce. You have 1 hour, Jamie, to persuade her to change and withdraw her case.
And
After
she doesn't,
that-
my lord. Are you going to fight?
It is in the gods' hands, Sir Jamie. The gods will
That's the
protect me.
question. Ah,
Yes, I will fight.
very well.
1 hour, Jamie. That is all you have. And he'll walk down.
And we will watch Jamie as he stands caught between a rock and another rock and a dragon-sized rock. And we will end here for this week. Our tiny post-credits moment. We see Tarla and Alfred on a road in the morning light. Alfred said he is going this way and points towards the south. And Tarla, you stand there not knowing where you are going at all. He takes you to the nearest village, and they tell you where House Gaunt lies. Lancer's Rest, the name of the house. And he does all he can to assist you in finding your way. And in town, you see the shape of a familiar black dog asleep in a kennel outside of the tavern. Let's go around, check in with everyone, see how everyone is doing, share some long distance the Tarla fam, because this was so much fun. Let's go reverse order. Let's begin with Tom today, who had the epic job of playing not one, but 2 characters for me.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. They could not be different characters as well. But it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me here. It was great. The fact to play Alfred, I do love playing Alfred, and to be kind of bumbling with Tarla was just amazing. I love those little. I love campfire scenes. I'm having so many of them recently. It's great. I do love campfire scenes. They're so awesome. But then again, I do love a good intrigue. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I just knew that there was no way I was going to beat Allegra in an intrigue. You just don't. You just really don't. But I can't wait to see what the future holds. And what happens in the pit. So yeah, that's me. I'm Hotflakes Tom. I Zweihander on Wednesday, this channel, 7 p.m. The finale, don't miss it. It's going to be great. DM'd by the lovely Susanna Grace. And on Thursdays, we have the sister campaign for this, After the Fire, DM'd by our lovely Jamie, just by there, which is at 8 p.m. GMT. Where it's going to be and Susie's there, and Charlie, so many people, and we're going to rescue, I put that in commas, Susie's character Miria. I mean, it's big commas. Yeah, it's going to be either amazing or a complete disaster, and you might see a massacre if you tune in as well. That's
Hey! Speaking of possible complete disasters and total massacres, let's hop on up to Susanna Grace and Allegra, who brought total disaster and a possible absolute massacre for today.
So, yeah, cool. I'm excited for it. I don't know who the fuck I'm gonna find to fight Wendell, but somebody, Sam, maybe have to step up to the plate. Represent her house, stab that bitch. Hey, look, if I'm wrong, then you'll just die, and Wendell Gaunt will get away with it, so it's fine. It's gonna be right. It's gonna
That's the risk that Susie is willing to take. The thing
No.
we can do to family. Or
The thing
to
we
family.
do. Yeah, no, I'll find somebody. I'll name somebody good. Don't even worry about it. I'm fabulous. I'm hot. I got money. There's lots of boys in King's Landing. Anyway, I'm Susie, the Susanna Grace, variety streamer, talker of shit, and amongst other things. You'll next find me on the internet tomorrow on my channel, which is twitch.tv/Susanna Grace at 8:30 p.m. for Grains of Truth, which is our Witcher campaign, in which I play another troublesome rich lady, Isabel, who's a sorceress. And then, like Tom said, on Wednesday for Zweihander, Thursday for After the Fire, where I'm in desperate need of a rescue, and then on Friday, back on again. So tune in for that.
Hip hip hip! And someone always worth tuning in for is the wonderful Amelia Tyler.
Hello. That was interesting. How does Tarla manage to keep coming across the nicest people in the Crownlands by accident? It's like,
I don't know, but
awkward
if you
social
figure it out-
situation. Oh, here's somebody who's really nice and just looking after stuff. Tom, I love hate you. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like one character, yay. Other character, oh no. That's quite the head fuck. Yes. Once I've wrapped my head around what the hell just happened, you can find me hopefully tomorrow back here for the Fall of London, our Vampire the Masquerade campaign, playing vampire dominatrix Lillian Whitlock, who would never have any of these campfire conversations. They probably last about 2 seconds and would involve her going, ugh, and leaving. So yeah, and it looks like I'm going to be streaming a bit more because what else am I going to do, quite frankly? So come and play.
That's the spirit. So yeah, please go and check out Amelia Tyler at twitch.tv/Amelia Tyler, or over on Jay's channel, which is /JBritain. Shout out to Jay, who's also in our Wednesdays Zweihander cast. Let's go on over and down to the wonderful Sam. Sam, you got enough Game of Thrones in your life yet? Do we need more?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm building up to Thursdays after the fire session, which, if you like the juicy fruits from this game, friends, head over to follow Black Cats, our Twitch channel, on Thursdays, and you will see our big mid-season finale-esque episode in which will Maria Greenmont be saved from the clutches of Horatio Ironwood? Will Alfred Hotflakes Tom get inside and figure out what the heck's going on? Will it all end lovely? Tune in for the Scorpions of Dawn, episode 6, because that's a good name for an episode, right? Only happy, wholesome things can happen in an episode like that.
For sure. You know what? Actually, let's put this to chat really quickly because I have a small technical hiccup to deal with. What should we name the title of this episode? You all watched it. You were all here. Drop me a title.
The fucking.
That's very familiar. And if you are on YouTube, please do leave us a comment down below. Thank you so much for hanging out, checking out the VODs. We appreciate all of your likes, follows, subscribes, and all of that stuff. And thank you so much to chat for unlocking our unexpected letters and allies. And it was just whenever they unlocked, that was who was going to get it. Tarla, you have a pet dog now. Enjoy that one. We'll see how that goes.
Don't.
Millie,
no,
Millie, don't.
No.
Don't.
No.
Because that's the sound I made when it was allowed. And then look what happened.
This channel, I feel responsible for the amount of dogs on this channel. And no, it doesn't never ends well.
You, Jim Davis, and I have killed so many pet dogs. It's a bad time.
That's a valid point there in chat. R'hllor is going to be so jealous. He's going to stomp the shit out of that dog.
Oh god.
That dog's dead. That dog's
fucking dead.
Oh, no.
Massive thank you again to Architect Origins, who is unleashing some extra weirdness into Tarla's life. The visions are only going to get darker, my dear Tarla.
Awesome.
The stranger will continue to follow Allegra. And there's a little surprise coming for Asta. Thank you so much for those. And we will also have 4 bonus episodes of Game of Thrones goodness that I'm going to be booking in very soon, thanks to Architect Origins. If you have enjoyed this, please head to the Discords. Please head and check us out on Thursdays. Please be here for all the goodness this week. We appreciate you so much. Here's that Discord. Here's the Patreon. For as little as $1, you get access to all the stuff that we post there. I know money's tight at the moment. Please do support creators if and when you can, any and all. And the best free ways to do that are comments, retweets, reviews, all of that stuff. And if you got the extra time, put it in because it's worth it for everyone. I still can't turn off the stream, so I'm trying to decide what to do about that. If anyone has any really quick questions we can answer, that would be great while I try and get the system rebooted.
Well, I've picked my champion. You know, I got a stranger, right? I'm gonna name the stranger. He's been following me around. He can fight for me. He's got 100% success rate. He's never failed.
I would love to see you play that card.
I named Death.
Yeah, it's a pretty good card to pull, let's be honest. Can you seduce death?
Should we name Asta for the kids?
If anybody could.
Yeah.
Leave my little brother alone. He's done nothing of use.
Exactly.
What to you?
Exactly.
Wow.
Asta is fucking useless. So the most useful thing he can do for us right now is come to King's Landing and get fucking stabbed.
Wow. Allegra is under the bus. And I love that you were like, my name's Allegra. Allegra Gaunt. I'm like...
She was grasping at straws. She's not great at the fibs.
Yeah.
Allegra fucking Gaunt.
We should name Adeline. That'd be great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
She'd love it. Chance to stab a gaunt. That'd be
You
like a
would have
holiday.
to convince Valerian to wait for her to arrive, but...
Hey,
She might accept it.
No, the rules of this, you name someone, you have to wait for him. That's why Tyrion named Jaime when he was halfway across the fucking realm.
Yep.
Smart.
That's a good plan. I might have to name
What do you say, Sean? I fancy stabbing a gaunt.
Adeline.
Yeah, you
So
do.
hey, here's the thing. Kind of threw you under of us, but you could stab a Gaunt out with us, so it's worth it.
Right. We may lose stream
You
connection
win?
at any time. I don't know, but we'll see.
Everybody wins at Gaunt stabbing, apart from the Gaunt.
The thing is, right, she can stab a Gaunt, but if she wins, she's getting put on fucking trial for treason. Because she's named in the letters. So she wins, she dies. She loses, she dies.
She proved. Yeah.
Plus, the worst
Proves
bit
the
is
point.
that this guy's a prick. Let's be honest. I don't think he's that bad.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look, the truth is just
That
an
Gaunt
inconvenience.
sympathy.
He is your future husband. You may as well start loving him.
In one reality, that might be true.
If you can remember who you are.
Or who you are.
Or who
what
anyone
anything is.
Yeah.
If I can use the cutlery without stabbing myself. Let's see. I'm
don't
like a
have much
shit little
luck.
mermaid. I just don't know what anything is right now.
You actually, that is like the perfect like comparison. I'm just waiting for you to find a spoon and be like, what does this do?
Oh, I'm bleeding again. That didn't happen
Alright.
in the Disney version.
So,
I did
No-
want.
Go ahead.
Spooned myself in the
Oh,
eye.
There's one thing I wanted to teach Tarla, and that was to shoot a bow. We didn't get to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
good luck with that.
we can make a quick roll and see how Alfred's tutorial went. I feel like.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Oh, why not? Why not? I
So
wanna
bad
roll
news
orders.
about Adeline. I've just looked at her sheet. She's as good at fighting hand to hand as Allegra is.
Oh.
Good, strong.
Yeah, choose her. Choose her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm aware of Wendell Gaunt's sheet. I'm not an idiot. I've seen.
Oh, it's
I'm
been
aware
redone
of
since
it.
then. We have redone Wendell Gaunt's sheet.
Oh, good.
Since I
Strong.
got that sheet.
That's the kind of NPC
Alright, so
manipulation I do.
I'm
What
gonna
are we
see if I have
rolling?
control back. Sam, what did you do for Miria's training?
Let me get
Persuasion
the book,
test on it.
Charlie Smith.
Thanks, Fran.
Oh
He's
boy,
actual.
this is my favourite thing.
You know,
So this is
quick
usually like
improvising.
Keep
this
in
is
mind,
usually
this was
this is
probably
usually
an
a
archery
quality.
lesson in the dark. Just after that, I want to give you
This-
at least one in marksman. Sorry.
this is usually where is the book? Here we go. This is usually a benefit, like one of the cool talents that you have, called Gifted Teacher. But I just use the rules to teach people stuff. Like I don't think you need it. You can impart knowledge to other characters. A successful persuasion test allows you to grant the character bonus dice on knowledge tests your student makes in relation to this topic of instruction. But I kind of house rule it to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the skill.
Yeah.
You may instruct a character. The difficult test depends on the size of the bonus you wish to confer. A failed test indicates the subject was too lofty for the student to absorb. So, Tom, do you want to
Yeah.
bestow 1 bonus dice, 2 bonus dice, 3 bonus dice,
Ooh.
or 4 or 5 or 6
Oh my
bonus
god.
dice? The difficulty
Uh,
ranges from 6 to 21.
And that, do I roll marksmanship or something?
You roll persuasion, and I mean, if it were up to me, I would say that you get your bow bonus dice.
Okay.
But Charlie's
Okay.
in the GM's chair right now, so whatever
So it's
she thinks.
persuasion.
I agree.
plus-
No, I agree with that.
Persuasion
plus
test
bow.
dice plus
The
bow
most-
specialty dice.
The most I can get is 12.
Yeah. So you can go
Um,
for 1 bonus dice for difficulty 6, 2 bonus dice for difficulty 9, or 3 bonus dice for difficulty 12.
Fuck it, let's 3 it. I believe in myself. Unfortunately, I went out of fantasy ground, so I'm gonna have to do this in. Sam, you're
You
in.
got D6s?
When are
I got
you?
D6s. Do you want me to roll?
I'm in.
Oh, Sam's got it. Cool.
What am I rolling?
No, I'm alright. You're rolling. You're rolling 5 dice altogether, keeping 2.
Okay. Keeping 2.
Oh.
Yeah, keeping 2.
No, that wasn't it. That was.
Oh.
I've got to drop 3 rather than 2. I got that wrong.
Come on, 2 6s. Come on. Boom!
What a gamble and what a payoff. That is perfect. All right. I'm going to try and throw us to a raid when we manage to get the stream down. Thank you all so much for the extra time. This is awesome. Tom, I hope you're ready to come back at some point very soon. Because apparently we have a fight to have. Until then, you're all my champions. I look forward to seeing you all week in chat and hanging out and playing games. If you are looking to play games, please join our Discord. There's a whole host of people running at the moment and lots of opportunities for everyone to get involved in this time of self-isolation where we can all be in it together. Until next week, take care, my good friends. Or next week. Till tomorrow. We're back tomorrow. Till tomorrow, take care, good friends. And we will see you very soon.